Restaurants are in the business of providing food and hospitality. Most establishments genuinely care about quality and customer satisfaction. Then there are the industry secrets, manipulative tactics, and questionable practices that every restaurant uses, but none of them want customers to know about. 1. The catch of the day is usually whatever fish is about to expire or didn't sell well earlier in the week. Restaurants market old fish as special daily offerings to move inventory before it spoils. The romantic notion of fresh daily catches is mostly fiction, designed to justify premium pricing. What's actually happening is the kitchen needs to use aging seafood before it becomes unsellable. Customers pay extra for fresh fish that's often the oldest item in the kitchen. The daily special designation makes people think they're getting something exclusive when they're actually getting what needs to leave inventory immediately. Servers are trained to enthusiastically promote catch of the day without mentioning it's about inventory management. The tactic works because customers associate specials with freshness rather than recognizing them as clearance items. 2. Restaurants calculate that most customers will order the second cheapest wine on the menu, so they place their highest markup wine in that position. The wine pricing strategy exploits customer psychology and social anxiety about appearing cheap. People avoid the cheapest wine thinking it's low quality but don't want to spend too much, landing on the second option. That specific menu position has the highest profit margin because restaurants know it gets ordered most frequently. The actual quality difference between cheapest and second cheapest is often minimal or non-existent. The menu placement is pure psychology designed to maximize profit per bottle sold. The third and fourth options might actually be better values, but customers rarely make it that far down the list. Wine list design is a calculated science based on predictable customer behavior patterns. 3. The bread basket isn't free hospitality. It's a tactical tool to fill you up on cheap carbs before expensive entrees arrive. Bread costs restaurants almost nothing but fills customers' stomachs with filling carbohydrates. The fuller you are from bread, the less likely you'll order appetizers, desserts, or additional items. Restaurants save money on food costs when customers eat cheap bread instead of expensive proteins. The timing of bread service is deliberately calculated to maximize stomach filling before ordering. Some high-end restaurants have eliminated free bread specifically because they want you hungry for profitable items. The butter and oil served with bread costs pennies, but creates impression of generosity. The bread basket is a calculated cost-saving measure disguised as hospitality. 4. Menu descriptions use specific psychological trigger words that have nothing to do with actual food quality but increase sales by 30%. Words like homemade, grandma's, authentic, artisan, and handcrafted are chosen for emotional impact. The descriptions are written by marketing professionals who understand psychological triggers. These words make customers willing to pay more despite describing the same basic food preparation. A handcrafted burger sounds better than burger, even though all burgers are made by hand. The nostalgic language creates false memories and associations with comfort and quality. Menu engineers test different word combinations to find maximum profit-driving descriptions. The actual food preparation often doesn't match the romanticized descriptions at all. 5. Restaurants play specific music at calculated volumes to control how long you stay and how much you spend. Fast-paced, loud music makes people eat faster and leave sooner, maximizing table turnover. Slower music encourages lingering and ordering more drinks and desserts. The volume affects conversation difficulty, which influences ordering patterns. Background music is chosen based on target demographic spending patterns and desired dining duration. Restaurants adjust music throughout service based on how busy they are and whether they need turnover. The acoustic environment is deliberately engineered to maximize revenue per table. Music selection isn't about ambiance, it's about behavioral manipulation for profit. 6. The chef's special is usually whatever ingredients are about to expire or are overstocked in the walk-in cooler. Specials are inventory management tools disguised as culinary creativity. Customers think they're getting unique dishes when they're actually helping restaurants move problem inventory. The premium pricing on specials rarely reflects actual ingredient cost. It's about perceived exclusivity. Ingredients that would otherwise be thrown away get repurposed into profitable special dishes. Servers are trained to enthusiastically promote specials because they help solve kitchen inventory problems. The daily rotation of specials tracks with what needs to be used immediately. What customers think is chef creativity is actually smart inventory management. 7. Most fresh squeezed juices at restaurants come from concentrate or are pre-made, despite charging premium fresh prices. The labor and waste involved in actually squeezing fresh juice makes it economically unviable for most restaurants. Pre-made juice products are designed to taste like fresh squeezed while being much cheaper and easier. Customers paying $6 for fresh orange juice are getting the same concentrate available in grocery stores. The markup on juice is enormous regardless of source, but fresh allows charging even more. Some restaurants do squeeze fresh juice, but far fewer than claimed to on their menus. The fresh juice lie is easy to maintain because most customers can't tell the difference. Premium juice pricing is one of the highest margin items restaurants sell. 8. Restaurants seat attractive people near windows and front areas to make the establishment look more appealing to potential customers. The practice called pretty policy or face placement is widespread in urban dining scenes. Hosts make split-second attractiveness judgments to decide optimal table placement. Good-looking diners serve as unpaid marketing by making the restaurant appear desirable. Less attractive customers get seated in back areas or less visible locations. The discriminatory practice is rarely acknowledged, but commonly implemented across the industry. Some restaurants explicitly train hosts on strategic guest placement based on appearance. The tactic exploits human psychology where attractive people make spaces seem more desirable and exclusive. 9. Portion sizes for the same dish vary dramatically depending on who's serving you and kitchen mood. There's no precise measuring happening in most kitchens despite menu prices being fixed. Cooks eyeball portions, leading to significant variations in what customers receive for the same price. Busy service periods often result in smaller portions as kitchen staff rushes through orders. Regular customers or people who complain often get larger portions than average diners. The portion inconsistency means you're essentially gambling on whether you'll get good value. Kitchen staff morale and stress levels directly affect how much food ends up on your plate. The lack of standardization means identical menu items have wildly different actual costs to the restaurant. 10. The term market price on menus is code for "we're going to charge whatever we think we can get away with." Market price items aren't actually tied to daily seafood markets or commodity pricing. Restaurants use market pricing to avoid printing prices that might seem too high. The ambiguity allows adjusting prices based on customer appearance, ordering patterns, or restaurant need for revenue. Customers uncomfortable asking about prices end up paying inflated amounts. The practice particularly targets expense account diners and tourists who won't question costs. Market pricing removes sticker shock from menu browsing and hides true costs until the bill arrives. What customers think reflects daily market fluctuations is actually dynamic pricing based on maximum extraction. 11. Restaurants deliberately design menus without dollar signs because it reduces psychological pain of spending money. Menu engineering removes currency symbols to make prices seem like abstract numbers rather than money. The design choice measurably increases spending because customers disassociate numbers from actual financial impact. Verbal price listings like 25 instead of 25 further disconnect price from payment. The fonts, colors, and placement of prices are carefully calculated to minimize price consciousness. Expensive items are never listed with prominent pricing that might cause ordering hesitation. The entire menu design is psychological manipulation to increase check averages. Restaurants that add dollar signs back to menus see measurable decreases in per-customer spending. 12. The house salad, or soup of the day, uses whatever produce is wilting or needs to be used immediately. These menu items are efficient vehicles for moving vegetables that won't last another service. Customers think they're making healthy choices while restaurants are solving spoilage problems. The constantly rotating soup of the day reflects what vegetables need to be cooked before expiring. House salads use the wilting lettuce and sad vegetables from the bottom of produce bins. The lower pricing on these items still generates profit, because the ingredients would otherwise be waste. Servers push house options because they help kitchen manage inventory problems. What seems like a value option is actually a clearance mechanism. 13. Restaurants save massive amounts of money by slightly underfilling drinks, and most customers never notice. Bartenders are trained to leave headspace in glasses that reduces pours by 10 to 20% per drink. The ice-to-liquid ratio in cocktails is carefully calculated to minimize expensive alcohol content. Free refills are profitable because sodas cost restaurants almost nothing, despite being priced at $3 to $4. The fountain drink markup is over 1,000%, making beverages the highest profit margin items. Oversized glassware creates impression of generous pours while actually containing less liquid. The visual deception of large glasses filled with mostly ice tricks customers into thinking they're getting value. Beverage profit subsidizes food costs, which is why restaurants push drinks aggressively. 14. That homemade pasta or made from scratch bread often comes from wholesale suppliers or is pre-made. The from-scratch claims are technically legal if the restaurant does any preparation on premises. Pre-made bases are simply finished in-house and marketed as homemade. Customers paying premium prices for artisan bread are getting Sysco products with minimal modification. The time and skill required for actual from-scratch cooking makes it economically impractical for most restaurants. Marketing emphasizes homemade qualities, while sourcing indicates otherwise. Servers genuinely believe the homemade claims because they're not involved in receiving deliveries. The deception works because most customers can't distinguish house-made from high-quality commercial products. 15. Restaurants use smaller plates for certain items to make portions appear larger than they actually are. The plate size manipulation is a deliberate optical illusion to reduce food costs. A small portion on a small plate looks appropriately sized, while the same amount on a large plate looks skimpy. High-margin items get served on smaller plates to maximize perceived value despite minimal ingredients. The presentation tactic allows charging premium prices for minimal food costs. Instagram-worthy plating often prioritizes visual impact over actual quantity. Customers feel satisfied by full-looking plates even when actual nutritional content is minimal. The right plate size can make a $2 pasta dish seem worth $22 through pure visual manipulation. 16. Most restaurants have specific items they desperately want you to order because the profit margins are astronomical. Pasta dishes cost almost nothing to make but sell for $18 or $25, making them restaurant favorites. Appetizers have better margins than entrees because portions are smaller, but prices don't scale proportionally. Items that sound fancy but use cheap ingredients are what restaurants want you ordering. Servers are trained to subtly push high-margin items through enthusiastic descriptions. The menu placement of profitable items is in prime psychological real estate. Specials highlighted verbally by servers are almost always chosen for profitability rather than quality. The items restaurants push hardest are rarely the best value for customers. 17. Reservation systems deliberately overbook tables, knowing some customers will cancel or be late. The overbooking strategy maximizes table utilization, but creates waits for customers with reservations. Restaurants calculate no-show percentages and book beyond actual capacity. The practice leads to artificial wait times for people who booked ahead. Priority goes to high-spending regulars while regular reservations get delayed or seated poorly. Reservation platforms are in on the strategy because they profit from maximum bookings. The modern reservation system optimizes restaurant revenue rather than customer experience. People who actually honor reservations end up subsidizing no-shows through their waiting. 18. The lighting in restaurants is specifically designed to make food look more appealing and hide imperfections. Warm lighting makes food appear fresher and more appetizing than natural light would. Dim lighting prevents customers from seeing kitchen cleanliness issues or food quality problems. The romantic ambiance of low lighting is actually about hiding what restaurants don't want you seeing clearly. Instagram photos of restaurant food never look as good as in person because the lighting is engineered. Color temperature affects perceived taste and customers' willingness to pay premium prices. Harsh lighting would reveal the actual appearance of many dishes that look better in flattering glow. The entire visual environment is manipulated to maximize satisfaction despite actual food quality. 19. Restaurants recycle garnishes, bread, and other untouched items from your table to serve other customers. Bread baskets that weren't touched get put back in service for the next table. Garnishes like lemon wedges and herbs get reused if customers didn't touch them. The practice is widespread despite health code concerns because it reduces food waste costs. Customers have no way of knowing if their garnish was on someone else's plate first. Pre-plated items that come back untouched from tables get served to other customers. Some restaurants even recycle sauces and condiments that weren't used. The reuse saves significant money on food cost while customers assume everything is fresh. Health inspectors rarely catch recycling practices because they happen in real time during service. 20. Menu prices are strategically set at $19.95 instead of $20 because customers perceive it as significantly cheaper. The psychological pricing tactic exploits how people process numbers and make value judgments. The penny difference makes no actual financial difference but measurably increases ordering rates. Customers perceive $19.95 items as in the teens rather than $20, despite obvious similarity. The strategy is so effective that raising prices from $19.95 to $20 decreases sales. Restaurants leave massive amounts of money on the table by not rounding up those final cents. The illusion works even when customers consciously know they're being manipulated. Price psychology is more powerful than rational mathematical comparison. 21. The free birthday dessert comes with the expectation you'll bring a group that spends far more than the dessert cost. Restaurants track birthdays specifically to create full-table dining occasions with high check averages. The free dessert costs the restaurant $203, but brings in groups spending $200, $300 total. Birthday promotions are customer acquisition and retention strategies disguised as generosity. The singing and celebration create memorable experiences that encourage repeat visits. Some restaurants explicitly require minimum party sizes or spending levels for free birthday items. The dessert is an investment in customer lifetime value rather than actual generosity. The strategy works because birthdays are social occasions with multiple paying guests. 22. Restaurants deliberately make some menu items difficult or time-consuming to prepare, so you'll order something else. Menu engineering includes strategic placement of high-effort dishes that serve as price anchors. The complicated items make other dishes seem more reasonable by comparison. Servers are trained to subtly discourage ordering dishes the kitchen hates making during rush periods. The mere presence of expensive, complicated items improves sales of moderately priced, simple dishes. Some menu items exist purely for psychological purposes and are rarely ordered. The decoy effect in menu design manipulates customers towards specific, profitable choices. Difficult dishes make everything else seem easier and more appealing by contrast. 23. The health inspection score displayed publicly is often from months ago, and conditions may have significantly declined since. Health departments inspect infrequently, leaving long gaps where standards can slip. Restaurants deep clean before scheduled inspections and relax afterward. The posted score reflects a single day's conditions rather than ongoing practices. Many jurisdictions don't require posting most recent scores, allowing restaurants to keep displaying old, better ratings. Surprise inspections are rare, giving restaurants time to prepare when they know inspectors are coming. The scoring system itself is inconsistent across jurisdictions and doesn't necessarily reflect food safety. Customers rely on outdated snapshots rather than actual current conditions. 24. Restaurants use the same fryer oil far longer than they should because changing it is expensive and time-consuming. The oil degradation affects taste and health, but saves significant operational costs. Darker oil indicates breakdown, but customers can't see what's happening in the kitchen. The recommended oil change frequency is treated as suggestion rather than requirement. Fried food deterioration is gradual enough that customers don't notice day-to-day changes. High-volume frying operations should change oil more frequently but often extend intervals. The old oil contains residue from everything previously fried, creating cross-contamination. Restaurants balance food quality against operational costs, and costs usually win. 25. The term flare-up or 86ed means they ran out of ingredients, but don't want you knowing their inventory management failed. Running out of menu items indicates poor planning and ordering, which reflects badly on management. Restaurants blame supply chains or unexpected popularity rather than admitting to operational failures. The kitchen scrambles to create substitutions, hoping customers won't complain. Items get 86 because they're not actually selling well and got discontinued from inventory. The excuse of running out sounds better than admitting the dish wasn't popular enough to keep stocking. Customers who wanted the unavailable item often end up ordering more expensive alternatives. The inventory failures become profit opportunities through forced upselling. 26. Most kitchens have severe cross-contamination issues that would horrify customers who see pristine dining rooms. The same cutting boards and knives cycle between raw proteins without proper sanitization. Hand-washing protocols are frequently ignored during busy service rushes. Gloves give appearance of sanitation but get worn for hours touching everything. The kitchen chaos during dinner rush makes proper food safety nearly impossible to maintain. Floor-dropped items get rinsed and served when no one's looking. The separation between raw and cooked foods is more theoretical than actual during peak times. What customers imagine as sterile food preparation is actually controlled chaos with shortcuts. 27. Restaurants strategically place their most profitable items in the golden triangle of menus, where eyes naturally land first. Menu design consultants use eye-tracking studies to identify optimal placement zones. The most expensive items go in the upper right corner where attention naturally flows. Items restaurants want to sell get boxes, images, or special highlighting. The menu layout is psychological manipulation disguised as design aesthetics. Less profitable items get buried in less prominent positions with minimal description. The ordering of items within categories is calculated to guide choices toward high-margin options. Customers think they're browsing freely while being strategically directed toward specific dishes. 28. The catch in unlimited soup, salad, or breadsticks is that servers slow down refills hoping you'll give up asking. The unlimited promise brings customers in, but actual execution discourages consumption. Servers are trained to delay refills by being conveniently busy whenever your bowl empties. The strategy relies on customers being too polite to repeatedly request refills. Unlimited offerings have built-in friction to minimize actual unlimited consumption. The bread, soup, or salad costs relatively little, but labor costs for constant refills reduce profitability. Customers who actually maximize unlimited offers get labeled as problem diners. The promise is marketing while the experience is designed to limit actual consumption. 29. Restaurants pump specific scents into dining areas to increase appetite and encourage ordering. Artificial food aromas trigger hunger responses even in satisfied customers. The scent engineering is particularly aggressive near entrances to attract passing foot traffic. Baking bread smells are often manufactured rather than from actual bread preparation. The olfactory manipulation increases dessert sales by triggering sugar cravings. Different scents are deployed at different times to maximize ordering of profitable items. The entire sensory environment is weaponized to increase consumption beyond what customers planned. Natural cooking smells are supplemented with engineered fragrance systems. 30. That grass-fed or organic burger probably isn't, because restaurants know most customers won't question claims. The premium upcharge for specialty ingredients has massive margins because verification is impossible. Restaurants make health claims knowing enforcement is minimal, and customers trust menu descriptions. The cost difference between regular and specialty ingredients is much less than the price premium charged. Some restaurants legitimately source quality ingredients, but many exploit customer willingness to pay more. The organic and sustainable labels get applied liberally without corresponding sourcing practices. Menu claims are rarely audited, allowing restaurants to profit from false premium positioning. Customers paying extra for quality often receive standard products with inflated prices. 31. Restaurants automatically add gratuity to large parties because they know big groups often tip poorly or split bills confusedly. The mandatory gratuity protects servers from being undertipped on large checks requiring significant work. Large parties tie up tables for hours, reducing turnover and requiring guaranteed compensation. The policy isn't disclosed until check arrives, preventing customers from adjusting for already included tips. Some restaurants keep portions of mandatory gratuities, despite claiming they go fully to servers. The automatic gratuity often exceeds what customers would voluntarily tip. Large party bookings are simultaneously desired for revenue and dreaded for service complications. The policy prioritizes restaurant interests over customer choice and compensation. 32. Most handwritten specials boards are carefully crafted marketing rather than spontaneous chef creativity. The rustic, casual appearance is designed to seem authentic and chef-driven. The items on special boards are chosen for profitability and inventory management, not inspiration. The handwritten aesthetic commands premium prices by implying artisanal care. Daily specials often aren't daily at all, staying unchanged for weeks. The board placement is strategically positioned for maximum visibility to incoming customers. What appears spontaneous is actually calculated marketing designed to look organic. The special board items often have the highest markups on the entire menu. 33. Restaurants train servers to visit tables at specific strategic times, calculated to maximize additional orders. The first check-in comes just as drinks arrive, when appetizer ordering is most likely. The second visit coincides with appetizer finish, when entree doubts can be addressed. Dessert menus appear when entree plates are cleared, exploiting the completion satisfaction moment. Drink refills are offered strategically to increase beverage sales. The timing isn't about hospitality, it's about calculated upselling opportunities. Server visits are choreographed for maximum revenue impact per table. The seemingly attentive service is actually precision-timed sales optimization. 34. Combo meals and prix fixe menus seem like deals but actually increase total spending compared to a la carte. The bundling psychology makes customers order more food than they would individually. The discounted combo price is still more than customers would spend ordering less. The prepackaged combinations push specific items restaurants want to move. Prix fixe menus rarely allow substitutions, forcing customers into high-margin items. The value perception of combos increases check averages despite apparent savings. Restaurants profit by making customers buy more total items. The deal structure is carefully calculated to maximize revenue while appearing generous. 35. The butter served at most restaurants is loaded with salt to enhance flavor cheaply and make everything taste better. Salted butter is cheaper than quality ingredients that taste good naturally. The butter strategy makes mediocre bread seem artisanal through simple sodium enhancement. High salt content increases thirst, driving beverage sales. The butter enhancement is industry standard for making food more appealing with minimal cost. Customers attribute good taste to cooking skill when it's mostly salt and butter. The same enhancement strategy applies to finishing sauces and seasoning. Heavy salt use is economically motivated by taste improvement per dollar spent. 36. Restaurants position restrooms intentionally to make you walk past the bar, dessert case, or kitchen, exposing you to additional purchase opportunities. The strategic layout maximizes exposure to profit centers during necessary trips. The journey to restrooms is designed to trigger impulse orders on return to tables. Passing the bar reminds customers to order drinks they weren't considering. Dessert case positioning is calculated for maximum visibility during restaurant navigation. The entire floor plan is engineered to increase customer contact with revenue-generating areas. What seems like architectural necessity is actually intentional sales exposure. The restroom placement is rarely about convenience, and usually about maximizing sales opportunities. 37. Most restaurants use the same ingredients across multiple menu items, but descriptions make them sound unique. The base proteins, sauces, and starches get recombined in different presentations with different names. The apparent menu variety is actually minimal ingredient lists, rearranged strategically. The chicken on your pasta is the same chicken in 3 other dishes with different preparations. The cost efficiency of ingredient overlap is hidden behind diverse-sounding menu descriptions. Customers think they're choosing between different dishes when they're getting the same core components. The menu engineering creates perceived variety while minimizing actual ingredient inventory. The same limited ingredients generate 20+ apparently different dishes. 38. The manager who comes to your table when you complain often isn't actually a manager but a senior server trained to handle difficult customers. The title is used to placate upset customers who demand speaking to management. The response authority is limited to comping specific items or offering minor discounts. Actual managers avoid floor confrontations and send trained representatives instead. The pseudo-manager tactic makes customers feel heard without actual management involvement. The person has scripted responses and limited decision-making ability. Real managers only appear for severe problems risking legal or reputational damage. The title creates authority impression without actual position backing it. 39. Restaurants deliberately understaff during slow periods, gambling that service quality won't decline enough to lose customers. The labor cost reduction improves profit margins at the expense of service experience. Customers during off-peak times get noticeably worse attention due to inadequate staffing. The strategy assumes customers won't complain enough to offset savings. Skeleton crews during slow periods create stress for workers and subpar experiences for diners. The staffing decisions prioritize immediate cost savings over long-term reputation. Customers can't see the deliberate understaffing and blame individual workers rather than management decisions. The service decline is accepted as profitable trade-off. 40. The locally sourced ingredients on menus are often from massive regional distributors, not actual local farms. The local designation is deliberately vague, allowing broad interpretation of regional sourcing. True local sourcing is expensive and logistically complicated for most restaurants. The local claims are marketing differentiation with minimal actual sourcing changes. Customers pay premiums for local ingredients that aren't meaningfully more local than standard sourcing. The farm-to-table movement gets exploited by restaurants without actual farmer relationships. Some jurisdictions have no regulations defining local for restaurant menu claims. The local food trend gets monetized without corresponding operational changes. 41. Restaurants save significantly by serving tap water in fancy bottles, hoping you won't notice its municipal supply. The filtered tap water in glass bottles commands premium prices through simple presentation. Bottled water markups are enormous considering the product is essentially free. Some restaurants explicitly charge for bottled water that's actually from the tap. The psychological perception of bottled water justifies charging $6 for tap water. Customers assume bottles mean purchased water rather than house filtration. The presentation transforms free water into profit centers. The deception is profitable because few customers question water sources. 42. Most chain restaurants serve pre-cooked frozen food that gets reheated on site, despite advertising fresh preparations. The industrial food production happens off-site in factories, not in restaurant kitchens. The microwave and convection oven do more work than actual cooking during service. Chain consistency comes from centralized production, not skilled kitchen staff. The cooking is mostly assembly and reheating of prepared components. Customers paying restaurant prices are getting cafeteria-quality food preparation. The fresh claims are technically true because final heating happens on premises. The actual cooking skill required is minimal despite restaurant pricing. 43. Restaurants use psychology of item names to justify higher prices without changing actual food. Adding words like artisan, imported, or signature allows charging 30% more for identical dishes. The linguistic manipulation creates value perception without corresponding ingredient changes. Menu language is tested for maximum price tolerance before implementation. Simple food becomes premium through pure linguistic engineering. The same ingredients command different prices based solely on description strategy. Customers pay for words rather than actual food quality differences. The naming strategy is pure profit enhancement through psychological manipulation. 44. The secret family recipe or generations-old tradition. Stories are usually complete fiction invented by marketing departments. The authenticity narrative is manufactured to create emotional connections and justify premium pricing. Most recipes come from food consultants or are copied from competitors. The family restaurant backstory is often corporate branding rather than actual history. Customers buy the story and emotional connection rather than evaluating food objectively. The false heritage creates differentiation in crowded markets. Authenticity claims are rarely verifiable and almost never verified by customers. The invented traditions sell better than honest descriptions of standard restaurant operations. 45. And finally, restaurants calculate that their average customer will never return, so short-term profit extraction matters more than long-term relationships. The business model in tourist areas and high-traffic locations assumes one-time customers. Quality and service standards decline when repeat business isn't expected or needed. The transient customer base allows cutting corners without reputational consequences. Location traffic generates enough new customers to offset those driven away by poor experiences. The economics favor maximizing immediate profit over building customer loyalty. Restaurants in steady traffic areas have no incentive to prioritize long-term satisfaction. The one-and-done customer model fundamentally changes operational priorities toward extraction rather than relationship building, proving that restaurant service quality correlates directly with likelihood of your return. And when they know you're never coming back, the real priorities become brutally clear. These restaurant secrets reveal that dining out is a carefully orchestrated experience designed to maximize profit at every touchpoint. What makes these practices particularly effective is how they exploit trust, social pressure, and information asymmetry between restaurants and customers. The lesson isn't to never eat out, but to understand that restaurants are businesses optimizing for profit, not friends serving food at cost. Informed diners can make better choices and not fall for manipulative tactics. Subscribe if you enjoyed these restaurant revelations, and remember that what happens in the kitchen often stays in the kitchen for very good reasons.